Yes, people, how's everyone? And honestly, isn't everything just better when your football team wins in the Premier League? It's pathetic, but I love it, and we all do, and we all live for it, don't we? So, yeah, Leeds United beat Everton last night in the first game back in the Premier League 1-0. I've got a lot to say on it, a lot of interesting stuff going on. I'm so interested and excited about this season. I genuinely am. But as usual, we'll come back with the ratings, the player performance ratings, and as we're doing it, we'll discuss the games and what happened, what I think going forward, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. Why not? Why not? As per, and by the way, if you're new here, I do goalkeepers if they're busy, but other than that, I can't be bothered. So we'll start with the centre backs. Joe Rodon and Pascal Struijk. Big test for these two today. Two players that obviously have played in the Premier League with ups and downs in the past. But I think one thing we can say, they carried that partnership that they've had in the last 2 years in the Championship through to the Premier League 100%. And you can see clearly that they are better players. They're more equipped. They look more calmer than they used to when they played in the Premier League previously. They're older, obviously, they're more experienced. And I think they're just believing themselves more as footballers. They believe they belong. And that's it. That's a thing that a core theme that I'll talk about more as the video goes on. That for me spread out through the entire team was the idea that, or the thought that these players believe they belong where they are. That wasn't a scared team. That wasn't a team that's here to make the numbers up. That was a team that believes they can beat teams, that believes they belong here, that believes they are good enough. And these two just really impressed me. I was seriously impressed. And look, let's be honest, Beto's not the perfect striker, but he's physical and he is a handful. And let's be honest, in most situations they dealt with him. There was 2 or 3 times where Joe Rodon had to make recovery runs like he does, and he did it. Aerially was a decent battle. You don't win them all, but we competed with him every time. Second balls. When Everton tried to play into his feet, we were quicker and more aggressive to get there first. These little things really matter. And these two epitomised it yesterday. So I give Struijk slightly higher just because, just from memory, he had more of the duels, as in Beto was on him more. I could be completely wrong there, just from memory. And I just really enjoyed some of Pascal's passing range in that game. He went over the top a few times and it worked really well. Decision making from them both was excellent, and it's so refreshing now to see Pascal do so well and look so composed, knowing that Biol is the big centre back signing, now breeding that competition, right? I love it. I don't know who's going to start next game. The normal rule goes, if you've earned your place, you keep it. And that's for Biol to break into the team, or maybe he's the man. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, Pascal Struijk has played his way into that left centre back spot, and he deserves to keep it based on that, 100%. Seriously impressed with both of them. Big game, tough game against a very David Moyes football team. They're very, very, very organised. They fight, they dig in, and these two dealt with it for the most part very well. Fullbacks, slight. See, this is a controversial one. I know. I'm speaking to Andrea, and we'll speak more, I'm sure, on the final word with Joe tonight. Andrea was not happy with Gabriel Goodmanson in this game. I know Joe was very happy. I'm kind of in the middle, as you can see. And this is the one I've seen a lot of praise for Gabriel Goodmanson. A lot of praise. Like some people saying it was the man of the match. Now, what I will say, and what I like about Gabriel Goodmanson, is I really like his physicality in terms of he's quite agile, he's also quite quick, but he's also quite strong. He likes to attack spaces really well. And he did that. And I liked the combination play he did with Nonso, although not much came out of it in the final third, which is one of my criticisms of the game. down that left side. There was a lot of good deep play, but nothing really materialised bar from one cross, I think, from Gabriel Goodmanson into a serious chance. I think there's got to be a bit more at times, a bit more conviction on his cross. Maybe even a bit more conviction in that final overlap or underlap. A bit more clarity when he gets the ball at times. When he's got space to drive, he's really effective. But one thing I did notice, and Andreas says this as well, and you'll see it if you've watched the final word tonight. It was a little, at times when he was pressed high, and I mentioned this in the Liverpool game that I watched last year, kind of lacks options. He likes to go down the line with the ball when he's pressed. He's very safe with it, and that's not a bad thing. But there's times where he'll get caught out because there's a slight hesitant nature to some of what he does when he gets pressed. That's what slightly will worry me in certain games. When he's got space and time, he's really effective. And he does his role really well. So I give him a mixed one. I think there's a lot more to come from him, is what I will say. I think he'll take a while to adjust properly, in my opinion. I liked what I saw from Gabriel Goodmanson. He played well. 6.5, those that have been here last year, 6.5 ain't a bad score. Anywhere over 6 is an okay performance. You played well. You've done your job. Same for Bogle, I think. Let's be honest, he had the more difficult winger, whether that was Iliman and Dye or Grealish. He had the tough task. And him, along with the winger, whether that's Nonto or Aronson, dealt with it relatively well, apart from a 15-minute period in the second half where they were starting to win fouls, they were starting to beat them, get up the pitch. Positionally, I thought it was sound. Didn't take too many risks. Didn't really attack the final third in a way that he can. Maybe this was ring rust. Maybe this was instruction. Presumably so. But solid for Jayden Bogle. I'm not got too much. I like what we've got at fullback, but what I will say about fullback, I think there's, if you just look through the game, they weren't involved much in the final third, in my opinion, in an effective way other than maybe passing it 2 or 3 yards to a winger and maybe the odd cross. That's what I will say. So there's more to come from them, 100%. But they dealt with their mark as well. They dealt with their opposition well, which is what I like to see, which is what you need fundamentally. Midfield, right, let me just, quite frankly, I'll be honest, the standard they set last night, or whenever you're watching this, against Everton was truly, truly astonishing, in my opinion. I was seriously, seriously impressed with these 3 players. Seriously impressed. All last year, so many people were umming and ahhing about Ethan Ampadu. Can he make it in the Premier League? People saying he's getting in because he's the captain. He's getting in because he's an excellent football player. And you can, that was proof of that. What I loved about the way Leeds United played, one thing I needed to see in this game, and every game, is we need to match the Premier League, established Premier League team's tempo as a newly promoted side. We need to show them in every game that they should respect us. We need to show that, we can match you. We're not here to make the numbers up. We're here to match you and better you. We can be a pain in your backside. We can match your aggression. We can match your tempo. We can match that. And that was seriously set by these 3 in midfield. Seriously set. These 3 showed everyone that watched that game that, particularly in the back players, midfield players and the back players, we're serious about this. We'll match you man for man in everything you do. There was times where Ampadu smashed Dewsbury Hall, the role of the captain, did it well, got the ball clean. Everything that went behind, every time they looked like they were going to looked like they were going to counter from when we lost the ball high up. Every single time, one of them was there to either make a tackle or slow the ball down and let everyone else recover. Just smart play when they're attacking, showing them one way, showing them down in the wide areas to let players get back in position. They always did it. If they needed to foul, they'd foul. Press. Saw Tanaka pressing their striker at times, and what came from it? We won the ball high up. We set the tempo of the game. These three were key. Anton Stack, everywhere, doing everything. Farke's new Stiperman, as Andreas told me, 100%. Stiperman came in. I think Stiperman was a left back and a centre back before Farke got him, and then started playing him in the 10 and the 8 as that box-to-box guy who just pops up everywhere. As I said in the player preview when we mentioned him, pops up everywhere and does a bit of everything. That's what he does. He can do a bit of everything anywhere. Pop up in one position, right, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to put a pass in here. I'm going to create a 1-2 here. I'm going to create a passing lane here. I'm going to help my fullback out. I'm going to recover here. Just does it. Just does everything. If he needs to do it, he'll do it. Whatever the team requires, he'll do it. But again, took a few kicks. Don't bother him. Got up, got on with it. It's who he is. It's what he does. This midfield was honestly... This midfield set, like I said, the tempo of this game. And you're talking about Tanaka, a player who went from Japan to Germany's second tier to England's second tier. 26 years old now, who has just seamlessly gone straight into the Premier League like a duck to water. As the game went on, he got more confident, maybe too confident at times, where he was overly pressing, I thought, in the last few minutes, where he probably just should sit a little deeper. Got a lot of giddy, but just settled into this game. Mentality was what I loved from these three guys. Like I said, not fazed by who we're playing. They belonged. They knew they belonged in this league. The reason I've not got above an 8.5 is I still think there's slightly more room for improvement, which is insane. Having said that, this was one of the best midfield trios I've ever seen at Leeds United, if not the. And I give him an 8.5 because I don't think there was any individual that was, the man in midfield. I thought they all equally shared their roles to a top level. They were all outstanding, quite frankly. What else can I say? It's the biggest thing for me this season. We ain't going to out football teams at times. We're not going to be more technical than players. We're not going to outflare teams or players. We need to be ultra competitive. And that is set by these three. Standard is so high now, though, by the way. And look, I'm not expecting them to play this well every week. I know that. There'll be times where we get overrun in midfield. There'll be times where we get battered. There'll be times where they have poor games. Obviously, that will happen. 100%. I'm saying that now. That will happen. But that's normal. That happens. For the most part, I expect this consistency. And we need this consistency, in my opinion, to stay up. But yeah, big up to them three. Ridiculous. Now, slightly different with the front three. And this is what is so evidently clear. I'm saying it now, but everyone's saying it. The board said it. The manager said it before the game and after. Parag even did an interview with Sky where he said it. We need improvements in the front three. We got in... People saying we didn't create. I disagree. We did create. We got in positions where you can score a goal. Where you can... Whether you score, have a shot. We created that. We got into that role. We got into them positions. Because initially, when we won the ball, the movement was good. The way in which we drove into the final third was good. Or the way in which we found free markers in the final third was good. So we created the opportunity, but we didn't turn that chance into a big chance. We didn't turn that chance into, a goal-scoring chance. We got in areas to do that, and then it got let down. What I will say, I'll start with Dan James. Now, I slightly disagree with some of the criticism he's getting. Just my opinion, obviously. I think Nonto was the most active, he won a lot of, free kicks. He won a few free kicks, sorry. He won a lot of corners. He was aggressive. He got forward well. He made some good combinations. But there weren't much in terms of that final ball. Whereas Dan James wasn't really involved in the game wholly. It wasn't too much. But he kind of got the better balls into the box. There was 3 occasions where he got the ball into the box where we had a shot, I think. At least 2. One for Pro, one for Nonto, I remember. Pro probably should have scored. So it was kind of contrasting. Nonto did all the stuff James didn't, but then James did all the end bit that Nonto didn't. And what you need at this level, and we all know this, is we need consistency in that. We need someone who can do what they both did, but as one. Because Nonto he got the crowd off the feet, and I love that. And he played well. He did play well. But again, my only criticism as a winger for Nonto is just that over kind of expectation of going inside. Is that the right word? Over expectation, whatever. You know he's going to go inside. And it got a little predictable again. Even times where, I mean, I think it was near the end of the first half or the second where you're going, there's literally a huge gap down the outside. Please do it. And he still went inside. I get it. It's comfortable there. He likes to pass. He likes to make that that pass inside and create that little run. That's your thing. Do it. I like that. But be variety. That makes sense. Variety is important. Switch it up a little bit. Don't be predictable. Because it got a little bit that. And actually speaking, did they man for man, 1-for-1, beat their fullbacks that much? I don't think they did. I think Garner did a decent job on James, bar two accounts. And I think O'Brien did a decent job to save the centre-back as well on Nonto in one-on-one situations. We need, in my opinion, to bring in a winger who is going to destroy players one-on-one, who is going to seriously attack inside or outside. And at the end of that attack, there's a serious shot. I keep saying serious. But there's a shot. There's the chance. There's the critical chance. It's there. He creates it. They were very productive. Nonto was very productive. But in the last bit around that box, we lacked. And I think lacked massively. To the point where I was so encouraged by this performance. I genuinely was. I was so happy what I saw. Every one of them, even these guys that I don't think was amazing, they can be proud of what they did because we matched the tempo of the Premier League. But we need more attackers or we won't stay up. I'm at it with that. That's what I think. Not because these guys are bad or anything like that. Just because of the level. Look at the level the midfield showed. That's the consistent level we need across the pitch. These guys will be good options. They've proven that they can definitely help you in the Prem. They can definitely do stuff in the Prem. They can definitely be dangerous. And they all have their role in this squad. 100%. Joe Perola, I quickly mentioned. There was times where I thought he looked really good in build-up. What he did well, he came off the defender, and that ball out to Nonto or Goodmanson on that left side was really good. He did it 3 or 4 times. It created space. It created a one-on-one opportunity. He did that seriously well. His movement was decent. He looked sharp. But again, it's about service as well, the striker. That's the hardest thing. It's just that there's bits missing. We know that. But what he's shown to Joe Perot, that he can 100% have a decent, good role in the Premier League for Leeds United. 100%. I think he can. I think they all can. We need more competition. We need a guy that's going to come in and up that standard massively, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my hope constructive criticism for the wingers. But like I said, tempo-wise, fundamental-wise, hard work-wise, attitude-wise, all 3 of them loved it. Absolutely loved it. Now the subs. And I know obviously Longstaff came on, but he came on for like a minute or 2, didn't he? So I can't really speak much about Longstaff on this. Gruev as well, I'll just quickly on Gruev. Again, came in, worked for too long, didn't do too much, just did his thing. As usual with Ilya Gruev. That's a compliment, by the way. He didn't change the game. Who I think did change the game. There was a time in the game where our wingers were a little bit tired. The game got a little stretched. Everton were getting on the ball more. You know, and it started like a little dangerous, a little, the energy dropped slightly. This is where these 2 guys are perfect. When the energy's dropping, when you need an outlet, when you need some fresh legs, we need people who are going to work hard, do the doggies. These 2 are perfect. Like I said, everyone has a role in this team. Everyone can do different things. On that left side, also Nonto had worked himself into the ground. It runs so much. On that left side, we lacked in the last kind of 20 odd minutes. We lacked security on the ball. We lacked clear and clean decision making and a bit of structure. Jack Harrison 100% brought that. Nothing came down that side after. It was quiet. So quiet. And even in the final third, his 1-2s, his movement was sharp, clean, which we know that about Jack. His movement's good. It's sharp, it's clean. It's just the flary stuff that Nonto can do, or whoever. He hasn't got that side of his game. But for what we needed, Harrison came on and did exactly what he was required to do. Same for Aronson. Slightly different, again. Not the products, not the end product, sorry, not the overriding flair. But we didn't need flair. That wasn't going to win us that game. We got the lead. We need to see it out. We want security. And in my opinion, they both brought us that. And then I want to quickly mention Mecha. Hi, guy. Look, this is a key, probably the best example of profile, right? Lucas Mecha. People looked at his goal record, they might have played. You know why he's in this team. And that showed. Again, the game was getting a little edgy. Not too bad, we were fine. They had more of the ball, they were coming into it, they were moving it quicker. We lost the outlet with Pirot. Lucas, when the game gets deep, Pirot's a little separate from the game then. It's not his game, is it? Lucas Mecha thrives on that. When he came on, look, his touches were a bit originally, the first 2 or 3, that's ring rust. Nerves, whatever, yeah. Get used to the game. Took that penalty with confidence. Unbelievable. Confident. A striker wanting the penalty, not like some last year when they were on the pitch. Giving it to the centre-back. The striker wanted the penalty, he took the penalty, he scored the penalty. Confidence. Mentality. Then after that, he was outstanding for me. Came on. Once he got that goal, he started to feel himself a little more. Any high, long ball was one near the end. He brought it down, held it up, won a foul. The one after, he brought it down, held it up, found a pass, we won a corner. Did his job. And there'll be times where he'll have more of the game, where he'll play longer. He'll have to do a bit more stuff, maybe run the channels a little more, be more direct at times. He can do that. So Lucas Mecha came on and did exactly what we needed him to do. So yeah, what do you guys think? One thing that has done, it's given me confidence that we can compete. And that's exactly what I needed to see. I'm not getting carried away. I'm really not. I'm seriously not expecting anything at Arsenal or even Newcastle. What I am expecting, in terms of result, what I am expecting is to compete with them. Because I think we can, and we've set that precedent now. We can compete. Don't let that standard slip. Keep competing. Because we've been here before in this league where we started off really well and been relegated. Believe in each other. Believe in the manager's ideas. The crowd around you is there to support you. They love you. The atmosphere was a joke. This is what we can be as a club. We can compete. I always wanted in my life a Leeds United team who can compete, who could be a little mean, a little aggressive, but also play some good football. We've got that in this team. We just need some more ingredients. And then we've got a team all over the pitch that compete and can compete. Just do it. That's Leeds for me. That's what it is. We play the good stuff, but we can do the mean stuff too. Got to take it personally when teams come to Elland Road thinking they can beat you. I like this team a lot. But yeah, long season to go. It's a great start. A really good start. I'm really happy with that start, genuinely. But there's more to go. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in a bit. On to Arsenal. Oh, jeez. See you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.